Hey everyone, for today's video I'll be talking about the kit info that was released for the new crossover unit that should be live in JP today. There were two units, SUNRAKU and Saiger 0. I'll talk about SUNRAKU in this video and then Saiger 0 tomorrow. Starting off, SUNRAKU is a fire human and his slots are 6-star physical, 5-star support, and 4-star physical or heal. They're nice slots in general, the 4-star heal especially. I wouldn't say it's LB7 worthy unless you get dupes, but that heal slot for a cleanse or a revive is gonna be pretty solid. His skill gives him 30 arts or 60 if it crits. It's fairly nice, around 5.5 arts a second at best or 2.7 at worst. Not much to say, Artgen on skill is always nice to make your art rotations faster. For his arts, it reduces the enemy's physical resist and evasion by 50% for 25 seconds. It's a pretty interesting debuff, and for an art, it's fairly unique. It's fairly unique. The physical resist is really nice for damage, and the evasion is good on those higher evasion stages, although it's fairly niche. For his true arts, it does 70,000 fire damage physical, and for 25 seconds, he gives all allies 6 type E arts a second and reduces the enemy's crit resist by 100%. This is a really strong true art. It's basically Eins if he wasn't locked to demons. And on top of that, it's 5 seconds longer, meaning everyone's getting an unconditional 150 arts. And as an art gener, 150 AoE arts is insanely valuable. The closest we have to that is Blazing Flower Mira, if I'm correct, who's sitting at 136 AoE arts, but only for fire units, whereas other units are getting 102 arts. So to be able to give that much arts to any team is really nice, and as if that wasn't enough, he has a crit resist debuff, so he's now able to provide that fairly rare debuff on your team. For his super art, he does 160,000 fire damage physical, and during the super art, he gets 100% crit rate and 50% super crit rate. He also permanently increases his attack by 50% each use, up to 200%. This is a very interesting true art. The damage from this is going to be really nice, especially after maxing it out, although that will take 1200 arts. But even still, with the 50% super crit, this is going to see some pretty high numbers. I do wish it was a bit closer to Eins in regards to providing an AoE damage buff to the team, although this approach is pretty nice as well. And seeing how he has a crit resist debuff on his true art, his super art providing crit rate means he can break through 100% crit resist stages for himself only, which if you're going to use him as your main DPS is really nice on those crit resist stages. But if you pair this super art with a strong damage buffer, you're going to see some insane numbers, especially after meshing that with his attack buffs and super crit. For his passives, he gives all fire allies 15% damage resist, he has 40% evasion, and when near death he gets 50% skill CT recovery rate. While very niche, the 15% damage resist for fire allies is really nice. While we don't exactly have an established meta mono fire team, this is a pretty nice start for it. That's not to say that there aren't good fire teams for him, of course, as you could easily mesh him with other units like Valentine's Priscilla, Summer Iris, BF Mira, Kirisame, or others. Especially when he's paired with Summer Iris, as his passive should stack with her damage resist passive to equal out to 30% damage resist for the entire fire team. And while random, the evasion rate is really good. A lot of attacks are just going to straight up not hit him, which is nice, although it's not very beneficial for the rest of the team. And the skill CT would be nice if you run Grief on him, as it'll bring his skill from 11 seconds to 8.25 seconds, meaning he's getting about 7.2 arts a second from his skill, and with Grief, 9 arts a second. If you can find a solid healer for him, this should prove to be pretty nice in rotating his arts. SUNRAKU is basically looking like a pretty fun character. By no means should you think about pitying him, but he'll be a really nice pickup, especially if you want a nice start to a mono fire team. But even without a fire team, he's still great, as everything else in his kit is unconditional. Case in point is art gen and stuff. And he provides a crit resist debuff, so in general teams, I'd replace Eins with SUNRAKU every time. And while he doesn't have any actual innate damage buffs, that shouldn't be a problem if he's on the right teams, especially as we see the same with War God Fen, who's still a strong DPS for the utility he provides, despite the lack of insane damage buffing. And in all, SUNRAKU seems to be a pretty refreshing character. As I mentioned before about mono fire teams, if it's ever meta, SUNRAKU will be to it what Eins is to mono Demon Dark, so invest carefully. Let me know what your thoughts are about him though. If you did enjoy the video, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subbed. Good luck to all the JP players that are going to be summoning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.